welcome. If you're joining us for the first time, we're so happy you're here. And welcome back if you've been able to join us as we have these beautiful conversations with speakers from around the world, helping us to round out the year, set up for next year, and help us create practices that allow us to stay successful and creative and working towards what we want and hope for, whether you call that a resolution, a goal, an intention, whatever it may be. And you're in for a treat. We are here with the wonderful Candace Cave, and she is joining us from Southern Oregon. I understand there's frost on the ground. Pre-show, she told me that. And I can't even imagine frost on the ground right here today. Uh, Candace is a realization process senior teacher trainer. I have to say, this is the first realization process senior teacher trainer I have ever visited with. So I'm thrilled. We're going to learn so much today. Welcome, Candace.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
I am looking so forward to learning right along with the audience about what you do, which takes us internally, takes us to live inside of our bodies in order to embrace success and accountability in our daily experiences, correct?
Yes,
Oh,
indeed.
take
Yeah.
it away. We're so excited.
Okay. The realization process is a method of being in contact with the deeper dimensions of our own being, as well as deeper contact with our environment. It teaches us to live inside our body rather than on the surface of ourself. And Carol, let me just give you a little experience of that difference.
Oh,
Okay.
I would love that.
Okay. So we're just going to start, and everybody that's listening can do this too.
Yeah, please, y'all, let's sit up. Let's
Yeah. Sit up if you're comfortable with that, but you can do this in any position, lying down, standing up, walking. Close your eyes if you're sitting and just let yourself be comfortable and rest your hands on your lap. Just
Okay.
let them be comfortable on your lap. And just for a moment, let yourself focus with your breath, right? So if your mind is swirling around, just see if you can let your breath settle you more inside your body. You can follow the breath in and let yourself settle. And then, Carol, allow yourself to become aware of your hands. Right? So, being aware of your hands, you may feel if they're tense or relaxed, or if they're hot or cold. You may feel the fabric of whatever you're wearing on your lap, on the palms, or the air across the top of your hands. I'd like to invite you to notice from what vantage point you're aware of your hands. Are you looking down at them from your mind? Are you on your skin and feeling them from there? Or are you inside and aware of the bones and the muscles? So this is being aware of your hands. Okay. Now, Carol, enter in to your hands. Come and inhabit your hands. Okay, so see if you can feel yourself deeper than the surface. As you enter into your hands, as you inhabit them, you may feel a stillness in there. You may feel that you are inside your hands, that you're present inside your hands. So you're not just aware of them. See if you can feel yourself living, present inside your hands, even deeper, more subtle, a feeling of you, inner contact. And then when you have some kind of sense of that, just let yourself relax and we'll check in. And you can share with me if you felt a difference between those two experiences, being
Mm.
aware and inhabiting.
Well, that was very nice. Let me
Mm-hmm.
stop at that. Thank you.
Yeah. So it
So,
felt different to be inside, didn't it?
well, I actually took myself, interestingly enough, the beginning, I felt where I was touching, and I have on yoga pants, and I could feel the fabric. And I do that often through my breath when I'm relaxing. I like to know what any
Right.
part of
Where
my
you are. Right.
touching the surface.
Right.
And then I felt the air on top of the hands. And then I felt my pulse.
Uh-huh.
And then when you mention, I do love yoga, I practice. And so oftentimes I think about the skeleton a lot. So then when you said, let's go within, that was a pleasant experience because I oftentimes in different asana, it's nice to picture the bone structure rather than the muscle. However, when you said live within your hands,
Right.
what I did was imagine being inside these hands and looking around at my hands.
Okay.
And I could see that I felt very comfortable. I felt very present, and it was different. It was, um, I wonder what that movie is. There's a movie, I think it's Living Inside Malkovich or something. I can't think of it.
Oh, being John Malkovich.
Yes, being John Malkovich. And it's funny that crossed my mind when you said what it's
Mm.
like living in your hands. That came to me, and I looked at it from that perspective.
So you mentioned seeing yourself inside your hands. Were
Yes.
you able to actually feel yourself inside your hands?
Oh, interesting. What I did was I saw myself in the environment. I don't know that I felt my presence inside my hands, if that's the question.
That's the question, because that's what we're looking for. That's what seems to have been forgotten by our human species. We seem to have forgotten how to live inside our bodies. 4 centuries ago, Descartes said, I think, therefore I am, right?
Yes.
And we
Yes.
all started identifying ourselves with our mind, but our mind is only a tiny bit of the story of who we are. And our mind can tell us lies.
Oh,
Our mind can lie to us. You
on the
know that,
regular,
right? Yeah.
on the regular.
Yeah. So my work and my interest and my goal in life is to help people learn to live in the fullness of themselves, to be whole and not leave anything out. So I teach people how to live inside their bodies, not just outside, and how
Mm.
to feel their inner experience and not get overwhelmed by it. A lot of the times when people are feeling their inner experience, what they're feeling is their emotions, and their emotions can carry them away from presence. It can carry them away from the truth of who they are. I'm sure you felt that sometimes when our
Oh,
feelings get out of control and make
oh,
us do things that maybe we wish we hadn't done. Right.
yeah.
Right.
My guess
Oh,
is most have. Yes.
yeah. Most people, I think, have experienced that. That's because we're not living inside ourselves, right? Where the truth is. The truth of
Wow.
who we are is inside. And it's not just the thoughts, and it's not just the emotions, and it's not just the sensations of being alive. It's actually deeper than that. We can, with a little practice and willingness, we have to be want to feel this level of ourselves, but we can feel a dimension of our own being that is absolutely still. It never changes. It's the part of ourselves that didn't make up ways to be in order to survive in the world. It's the place from which we respond to life as our most authentic self, not the part of ourselves that wants to be a certain way, right? But who we actually are. And the amazing thing the amazing thing about this dimension of ourself is that it's everywhere. It pervades not just our body, but everybody's body, the trees around us, the world around us. It's even deeper than the space between us. It's even more subtle than that. It's extraordinary and
Mhm.
also ordinary.
Mm.
It's also once you get used to living at that dimension, it becomes a very ordinary way to be. Now, it's undivided, right? So at that dimension, we can know each other even through the distance of Zoom, meeting together at that dimension of our being. It can be called the ground of being, right? The founder of the realization process, Judith Blackstone, calls it fundamental consciousness, right?
Mm.
It's consciousness that pervades the whole universe, right? It's a wonderful, it's a relational field. It's the deepest contact we can have with ourselves, right? And it keeps us on a steady ground so that we can decide to be a certain way. I want to eat less in 2025. I want to change my diet in 2025. And with this work, we can go inside, we can discover the parts of ourself that keep us from the truth of that, right? That keep us, we can discover the parts of ourselves that keep repeating the same pattern of eating because we're stressed, right? Eating because we're overwhelmed, eating because it's there, all those reasons. We make our resolution and then temptation takes us away. But in this work, we learn to live in the ground of being and unwind and disentangle the ways those patterns grasp us and keep us from our undamaged self, the truth of who we actually are.
Mm. What a beautiful practice. What keeps coming to my mind is the oneness when you said it allows us to
Oneness.
have this relational, you know,
Relational field is what I said, right?
love
Right.
that, the relational field. And it's a truth. So often we've all heard about go inside, the answers are inside, look inside yourself. And what this practice is, this realization process, is what you're sharing is an opportunity. It's on the deepest level that is the same for all. There is this oneness.
Yes.
You know, I'm covering
Yes.
what I, of course, and of course, I always speak in, I hope, and respect and honor of all faiths and practices that are beautiful of love and light. And in my experience and in my faith, that to me is what you're saying is this is creation. This is the godliness within all of us, that
Mhm.
where we are the same, and
Yes.
where the sameness and where we can have unity as a people.
Yes. So in this work, I am here and you are there. I am myself and you are yourself. But in this dimension of our being, there's no difference between us. We're the
Mm,
same, right?
that's
We have the same one taste, it's called, right? That's non duality, one taste, right? That we all can experience, even the trees, right? Even the flowers and the birds, they may not be as consciously aware of it, right? This is the gift of being human, right? Is that we have this self reflection so we can actually live awake in this ground of being, in this
love
feeling
that,
of oneness.
living awake.
Yeah, living awake.
All times that we need to have a feeling of oneness, it's really, this was such a beautiful time to share this practice. So
Mhm.
thank you. I know the audience appreciates it. In this, it's very meditative. So those that meditate, I would think, or pray, what for me it would be prayer. My prayer is much like meditation. And anyway, long story about that is this is a good place to add this practice.
Yes. It is a contemplative practice. It is a
Mm,
practice of inner reflection, but it
mhm,
also has a movement element to it, right? Because with practice, we uncover a little bit more of ourselves every
mhm,
time, until gradually we become whole. We feel it everywhere all at once, all the time. It
mhm.
takes practice. It doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes it's easier for people with a history of meditation, and sometimes people that are dancers or runners or athletes can find this quite easily. Somebody that's never meditated can also do this interior reflection. Um, but we want to be stable means that we need to be able to feel this no matter what we're doing. I'm out gardening and I want to inhabit my body while I'm gardening. I'm having a
Yeah.
conversation with you, or I'm walking down the street, or I'm at the grocery store, and I want to be able to feel this sense of myself, that a dimension of myself that nothing can break. Somebody's yelling at me. Well, I can be in this ground of being. Let them yell, let it pass through me, and also allow an honest response to arise, not a response based on fear, right? Not a response based on how I've dealt with people yelling at me before, but an honest response. I don't think it's very polite for you to be yelling at me. What are you so upset about? Let's have a decent conversation here and try to work this out, right? So, our Judith Blackstone, our founder, she began as a dancer, a choreographer in New York. She
Wow.
started dancing when she was 10. When she was 28, um, a, a, an old problem with her back resurfaced, and she ended up having surgery, and they fused her spine in the wrong way, out of
Oh
alignment. Horrible,
my God.
horrible situation. So she lost her work. She couldn't dance anymore, but she also lost her relationship with her spiritual self. There was
Mm,
something about the distortion of the spine that took her away from contact with the earth and contact
dang.
with the divine, right? So this work developed first as a way for her to work with her students that she still had, because she was still had to make a living, and then evolved into her way of finding, reclaiming her own spirituality, her own deeper sense of self, right? And it
Wow.
took her on a 50-year journey. So, and you can read about that in some of her books. My website has a list of her books on it, so
I
if
am
you're
looking
interested in
forward
that.
to this. Not only, so much of our experience in life, what we can't control at what comes at us, but to be able to have a practice in the middle of someone fussing. Actually, my husband might want to learn how to do this in case I'm fussing at him. But anyway, or maybe I'll just be so inside myself that'll all change because it sounds very healing. It
It's
does
very
not
healing.
surprise me that she started this through an injury
Right.
that
Mm-hmm.
pain does a lot to us, right? And this is so incredible. And once again, pain to purpose, that comes to mind what she's done here, which happens so often. This is really a beautiful practice, and I so appreciate it. And I love that thinking about, I don't know why everything's beeping around me, but thinking about moving into this next year, first of all, what a beautiful practice to incorporate. I love that you said when you're gardening or when people are, just immediately start getting deeper inside to this place where you're able to receive, because so much of our experiences and how we feel about ourselves, even, has to do with how we respond
Right.
to what's happened. Well, if we can respond from a grounded, calm place, it's not only helpful for us, but it's helpful for that relationship.
Mm.
It helps this other person. People that witness it can be like, how did you remain calm during that?
Mm-hmm.
This is a beautiful, very healing practice. And another way, also, as we are moving into the next year, a way for us to really get to what do we want?
Mm-hmm. What
I
is real, what is really real for you, not what you think you want,
That's right.
not how you should be, right? Right. But who you really are.
That's right.
Right. And you got to get through the injuries from your childhood that told you you weren't good enough, right? Because that's
Oh,
not really who you are,
mm.
right? Really who you are is a shining light, right?
Instead of these wounded
Right.
selves that we're
That yes.
encountering. I mean, that's who encounters one another. I'm covered in chills. I bet the audience can't believe it. I actually say that a lot because I get chills when I'm getting, and so I apologize, audience, but it's just the truth. I get chills. And the thing about that is we show up in a conversation from a whole place
Yes.
rather than a wounded place.
Mm-hmm. You know, and so often our wounds cause us to reach out of our body to make contact with other people, right? To send our energy over there, right? And if you were to follow how you make contact, you might find that you come out, right? You come out, you want to make contact, right? What we learn is that if we stay inside to make contact, we know what's going on with us. And we end up with a deeper contact with that person, a more honest and real contact, because we're coming from our own, the deepest part of our being, and we're meeting them in our truth and with our truth. And this isn't the idea of our truth. This is this is the ground. It's soft. It's
It's the energy.
receptive.
It's
Yes, it
our energy we're sharing.
right. But it we're not, we're actually sharing our being rather than our energy.
Well, you're talking soul.
Yes, some people would call it that, right? But I come from a very non-denominational
Yes.
um,
Yes.
and methodology, and
Yeah.
Judith has had deep studies in many different
Of course.
methodologies, and you see some relationships and some of the practices to other forms, but it's every, it all comes down to interpretation
That,
of
that
the
is 100.
experience of the ground of being. And I think you said that in the first place, right? It's
Yes.
just interpretation of the truth of what's there for us to experience and to be, right?
That's right. It's really, this is beautiful. I know the audience, first of all, I am so fortunate to have been able to have a little of the practice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to ask you to please just wrap up with a message for all on what you'd like everyone to take away. Of course, everyone has all the contacts, y'all. You can get in touch, follow, read the book. And you just get on there and learn everything you can from Candace. And any last message you'd like to share with everyone?
Um, well, I want to encourage you to explore inhabiting your body and learning to live in the subtle core of your body, which is another conversation we'll have another time, Carol.
Can't
Okay.
wait.
Um, and you can, I have a website that I invite you to, and I think Carol's going to share that address with you. It's non-dual embodiment.net. And on that website, there's about 15 different practices, recorded practices, as well as explanations of what to look for and why you want to do that, and to help you get started with learning how to inhabit your body. And I
Mm,
really want you all to go give that a try. Don't get discouraged. It's not going to happen all at once, but every time you practice, you'll reclaim a little bit more of yourself. You'll be rewarded by that feeling of, oh, yeah, here I am. Oh, there's more of me. Oh, wonderful. I can settle here.
Ah, what a beautiful gift. Thank you. I look so forward to our next conversation. And thank you, audience, for being here. My goodness, what a wonderful conversation this was today. Have a wonderful rest of your day or evening or morning, whenever you're watching this. And thank you for joining us. And Candace, thank you again.
Thank you, Carol.
Oh, my goodness.